This is my blog post number 2 for performing in an open mic night. I'm actually at the Rose Park Skate Park. I've been here to this park hundreds of times, but I've never been this far back. I always just go to the skate park, and now I decided to step back here and play my ukulele a little bit. I'm making a very deliberate decision to make playing at this open mic night a priority over skateboarding, which kind of hurts my soul, but I guess setting priorities and really working at them is what really makes you a good person. Just to start out this blog, I wanted to talk about something I'm a little vulnerable about. So the question is if I'm going to play at an open mic night, am I talented enough to do so? And I think this is a really important question, because I really would rather not go up in front of people and sound terrible. It's definitely something that's on my mind. I've had a few experiences where I've gone and sang karaoke and I thought I was going to do a good job, and it really didn't go that well, and it kind of hurts your soul when you put yourself out there and it just doesn't go that well. In fact, Brene Brown, she has a phrase for this. It's called the vulnerability hangover. You go do this thing, you put yourself out there, you're vulnerable, and then after you're done, you're like, holy crap, that was such a bad decision. So am I going to have a vulnerability hangover after I do this thing? I hope not. Hey, doggies. One thing I just want to mention about music, though, is music is such a hard thing, because in order to get good at it, you have to practice, and it takes tons of hours of practice. But the problem is all the music that we hear, everything that's online, that's on the radio, everything that everyone is exposed to is like the polished, perfect draft of somebody that's put in tons of time and has had a whole bunch of professionals, not just one person or one band, but a team of professional producers around them making it sound perfect. So I guess my point is being talented as a musician at the beginning is extremely stacked against you, because first of all, you have to have talent. You can't suck in order to sound good. But then more than that is there's just so much, like the general consensus of what people are used to listening to is the top of the top. And if you're anything less than that, people are going to be like, whatever, I've heard better. Of course you have. It's because people are amazing, and I'm working on doing amazing. So on my way home, I decided to stop by this Altair and see if I could play a little ukulele. So just every time I write a song, I gotta at least come up with some type of idea. And something that's been, and usually I have these ideas that are in my head that are just bugging me, that really writing songs just helps me get out. So this one, I actually think I'm going to entitle one of my songs Savages, because me and Lonnie, we've had a couple interesting experiences as we've traveled internationally this year. We went on a cruise, and then we also went to Brazil. We had to go get a yellow fever shot for a lot of the kids before we went to Brazil, and we went into the Salt Lake City Health Department, Salt Lake County Health Department actually. And we sat down with these doctors or individuals that worked at the public health officials at the county health department, and they just went through a list of all these things that could go wrong in this other country. They went through like yellow fever, dengue, malaria. Those were the ones I was expecting, but then they listed off like 20 other different diseases. They talked about stray animals and rabies. They talked about like not eating the food. They basically warned us, don't swim in any fresh water while we're in Brazil. Don't pet any stray animals. Don't eat any food on the street. Just listing off things that we weren't supposed to do while we were in Brazil. And I was a little irked, because I've been international and I've seen, I've done all this stuff. It's a country, people live there. One of the biggest arguments for the country not being that dangerous is there's millions of people that are still alive there. They haven't died yet. So I was a little irked, but Lonnie came out and she was fuming. She was really upset. She's like, this is just discrimination. They don't really understand South America. Why do they hate my country so much? And I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So we were a little bit irked coming out of there. And our other experience, we went on a cruise, and when we were on our cruise, we noticed that there was the cruise was beautiful. It was lots of money. It was really, really nice. And you would stop at all these different ports at these different islands, and they had like these mall areas around their ports that were just like super nice, like tons of money put into them, really nice material, very American. And then you step outside of these ports and it's just kind of these like what the countries actually look like. It's a little rougher infrastructure. It just doesn't look as clean. There's graffiti lots of places, a lot busier, more hectic. It honestly feels a little bit like when the Europeans landed in the new land and we saw these people that didn't live the same way as the Europeans did, and we decided that they were savages. It's like the United States is actively trying to dismiss the fact that there's other parts of the world out there that aren't as developed as them. And they categorize them either as places that need to be developed, where they can send their money to, or they're super dangerous and you just don't want to participate in because that's going to be too dangerous for you to take you or your family. And both of those attitudes just kind of irk me and irk Lonnie, and it's something I've wanted to talk about, and so I wanted to try and write a song about it. And without a better working title, I'm going to call it Savages. Here's just a working part of the song. I have more of it written at this point, but I'm just going to show you kind of what I got. So, you're savages in your country I could die. I'll build up a stage a beach, and I'll build up your rich, but poverty hurts my eye. That's what I got.